Alright, I've done this once before. Fill valve replacement. Did it recently. I work maintenance for like an Airbnb company. First thing I did, I cleaned the whole area just because I wanted to. And I got some buckets ready because I noticed that my flapper tower thingy is really high compared to some other ones I've seen. So I knew I was gonna have to drain a lot of water. I didn't want to mop it up really. It's annoying. So I got some buckets ready, and yeah, here we go. The water turn off was really, really hard to turn off. It was open all the way, and I've never had that much difficulty turning off one that's, the standard oblong shape. I've had some trouble with circular ones that are even older, but so yeah, I got it in the end with a little help with the adjustable. If you do this yourself, some things to remember would be just the toilet has usually like a fill line for the water that it wants to be filled to, and the new fill valve that you're putting in generally needs to sit like 3 inches above wherever that flapper ends. Not the actual flapper, but the little circular relief thing where you're gonna end up putting your fill valve hose into it. So that your fill valve should be about 3 inches above that, and the water itself should be about an inch to a half inch below the flapper relief. So at this point, I haven't done anything except unhook the water line that attaches from the bottom of the fill valve to the actual water line connection for the house. So like I said earlier, I'm just draining all that extra water out that gets left in the tank under the flapper. And it took a lot because, like I said, my flapper's really high. So I unthreaded the water hose from the two sides, and I unthreaded the plastic nut for the fill valve. And now I just took the fill valve out. I'm going to grab the new fill valve, and this one's super, super simple. I think it's even like a few years old, so if you got the exact same one now, it would probably be slightly different. At this point, the tank is completely empty, and any water left in the toilet doesn't matter. Don't worry about that. So I wiped the bottom of the tank where the fill valve goes back into, because you want the rubber seal to seat nicely. And I ended up having to wipe a lot of this tank because I think there's been some backfill and it's really gross. As you can probably see, that stain is not beautiful. There's really just nothing I can do about that. That would take hours of scrubbing. It's not worth it. Hate me if you want, I guess. So as you can see, I have the fill valve, the white nut that goes underneath the tank on the outside, and there's a black clip. There's also a black hose that you can't see right now. The black clip, a lot of times you don't need because your flapper relief has the connection already. You're going to be able to just stick your fill valve hose right into there. Sorry if I'm not using the completely correct terminology. If you have any questions, you can comment and I'll explain what I mean. But, there's only 4 parts, guys, so I think you'll be able to handle it. So just to reiterate what I've done so far, I took the water hose off, which is on the outside of the toilet, drained all the water, took out the old fill valve by unscrewing the nut below the tank, and then lifting it out, cleaned the area, Now I'm putting this black hose on, which is going to go into that little white thing, if you can see it in the video. It's got a nice little clip. You just put it right in there. That's called the fill valve relief hose. So I'm setting that up. I actually ended up cutting it back later. It doesn't need to be that long. Maybe like an inch in there at the most. So yeah, I cut that back. If you see the gray knob on the fill valve right there, that controls the water height for the tank. You can kind of like change it up, down, or whatever. Slight variations. So before you put the fill valve in, the whole thing itself twists high or low. You want to adjust it. There's a mark on your tank. You want to put it to that mark. If you don't have a mark, you want to put it generally 2 or 3 inches above that other thing, the fill valve. The flapper relief. So that's kind of what I'm going to mess with right now. Make sure that's the right height. If it's not right, honestly, you just drain it and do it again and raise the height or lower it or whatever. Or you can get away with twisting the gray knob too. These are really easy. They can be a little finicky if you don't pay attention to the 3 things: the height of the water in the tank, the height of the fill valve to the flapper relief, and the gray knob, the circular one on the fill valve, the one in the tank. So that's what the water line looks like. Really easy. I had to go buy a hose. They're standard 3/8 compression to 7/8 ball cock. So now the tank's filling up. I had to adjust some things, but I didn't get that on video. Basically, like I said, it's the exact same process. You can see the water line level right there. There's a hash mark for the fill valve. My flapper's old as balls, so you guys probably won't have to deal with your water height being messed up if you have a newer flapper. Alright, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. I know this ain't fancy, but it's real. This is my real toilet at home. I do this for my job too, but this is my toilet at home.